Sky's the limit, the truth is on our side. There's no time for worry, let's show the world our pride. Whether another comes up with a surprise, we all will discover where our fate will lie. On a blue wave, we rise to save the day. Only me, only you can let our hearts sail away on a blue wave.
And welcome to episode 41 of TruBlu Politics podcast. I'm Karen, and I'm here with my lovely co-host, Anita. Hello, Anita.
Hello, Karen.
And what have you been up to? What's been going on?
What have I been up to? Well, I haven't been reading the Epstein files.
You haven't?
No, I haven't been reading them. I don't know what happened to them. They must have got lost in the mail. They disappeared.
They disappeared.
I hear they're not even, there's no such thing. So
I thought they were on Pam Bondi's desk.
They were on Pam Bondi's desk. Well, that's what she said. I thought they were in those binders. I mean, what was in those binders? Blank paper?
Are we talking the binders of women? No,
the binders that Pam Bondi gave all the influencers that were huge that said Epstein files, part 1. And of course, they all left with all these big smiles on their faces. Oh, they were so excited about this. This was in February, right?
Yeah.
And everybody's forgot. Well, not everybody's forgotten about that, because the people that are really, pay attention to the Epstein files, the crackpots, they know, they are paying attention. They know this, they know every little nuance about the Epstein
It's
files.
like that was the number one reason that they voted for Donald Trump was because he was going to get to the bottom of it, right?
He was going to get to the bottom of it, but it represented something bigger. It represented Donald Trump going to Washington, exposing all these, elites who are actually running the government, right? And how their corruption, and basically just a cabal of pedophiles were running the government. They really believed that.
Yes.
And they thought a lot of them were hanging out at Hillary Clinton's pizza house over there in Washington, D.C., in the basement. So they actually believe that there is a number. I think Malcolm Nance has talked about this, the 300,000 kids they traffic. They're trafficking every year or I don't even remember, but that's the number. They're apparently trafficking children. And I mean, I don't know all the details because I'm not a crackpot, but I do know that's the basic, the fundamentals of of this conspiracy, which is a bunch of Democrats and, corporate elites who are, all a bunch of pedophiles. And
meanwhile,
the real corporate elite were all hanging out at Mar-a-Lago. And, the real corporate, they were all hanging out at Palm Springs, okay? Is it Palm Springs or Palm Beach? I get them confused.
Is it Palm Beach? I don't know. Where Mar-a-Lago is?
Wherever Mar-a-Lago, in Florida, okay? They're all there in Florida.
That's all we need to know.
They're all there in Florida. And these guys, they walked, there was walking distance from each other. Anyway, I know you want to talk about the whole Stephen Colbert thing first, so we can go.
And of course, this is definitely on all of our minds, and we need to keep talking about this because this is a big crisis, and this is something that we all need to get to the bottom of. Absolutely.
It's a crisis for them. It's a crisis of
no, Anita. It's a crisis for America.
That's true.
It is a crisis for America, and we need it is the most important thing, and so we need to get to the bottom of this absolutely. And it is Palm Beach, Florida. But
Palm Beach.
I did want to kind of start because we ended last week with Stephen Colbert announcing the cancellation of The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which, of course, this is the late night spot has been highly coveted and a mainstay in late night television
30
for
years.
decades. Yeah.
For 30 years. David Letterman, okay?
David Letterman. Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so, but here we are because, of course, Stephen Colbert has been an outspoken and relentless critic of all things political, but particularly Donald Trump and the Republican Party as it stands, right?
He has been relentless, and Donald Trump definitely. I mean, that is definitely. People talk about the Paramount deal and how he was speaking out about that, but it was more than that. Donald Trump wanted them to fire Colbert. That was part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what he got. And Colbert, and then Colbert left, and then what's the name of that? Oh my God, I can't believe South Park. South Park came along and
right. Yeah, so I'm just going
him.
to play for anybody out there that has not heard the announcement from Stephen Colbert. We'll play a little bit of that. And let me just get this queued up.
Before we start the show, I want to let you know something that I found out just last night. Next year will be our last season. The network will be ending The Late Show in May. And yeah, I share your feelings. It's not just the end of our show, but it's the end of The Late Show on CBS. I'm not being replaced. This is all just going away. And I do want to say, that the folks at CBS have been great partners. I'm so grateful to the Tiffany Network for giving me this chair and this beautiful theater to call home.
Yeah, it's very sad. It's depressing me, honestly. It just signifies something really bad going on.
Yeah, the end of something and a real threat to free speech in this country. And
he was the number one rated show. Yeah, he was the number one rated show on Comedy Central.
Right.
This is not a coincidence.
Right. And no, it's no coincidence, and it's it just signifies the danger, the moment that we're in. And this is how it happens. This is how, and you have
this is how we sleepwalk into it.
Yeah, well, and you have so much knowledge about Nazi Germany, and absolutely going after the comedians, going after the people that hold people in power, challenge people in power.
That's what authoritarians do.
Yes, this is it.
That's authoritarian playbook.
Yep.
I mean, it's funny because Jon Stewart, it's ironic, Jon Stewart is now having to, go after Donald Trump in the way he did, and I know you're going to play that. I think about the movie he made about that Iranian comedian who had a show very much like the Daily Show, right? And he would make fun of the Ayatollahs. I think it was that. Yeah, the Ayatollahs. And he ended up having to leave there. He had to flee. And the whole movie, I think it's called Cherry. What is it called? You have to look that up because it's a movie, and it's just kind of ironic. It's happening here.
Yeah, that
is happening here. When we would watching that, you're like, oh, that's terrible. How could they? Just because he's making fun of their leader, they should. That's ridiculous. That will never happen here. Of course, that's the way we looked at it at that time, from that angle.
Yeah.
And now, who would have thought Jon Stewart would be sitting there at the Daily Show having to confront it in his own country?
Well, right. And it really speaks to the way in which we have all taken for granted what this country, the freedoms that this country is supposed to stand by and foster.
What is more important than being able to come to make fun of your leader?
Well, that's what this country is supposed to be. It's supposed to allow people the freedom, and it is protected. We can petition our government, we can assemble, and all of these things that people just took for granted as, okay, no way is this ever going to go away, not taking history as a warning that yes, it can. And it's still a little mind-boggling to me that people took it so for granted to the point that they really thought that what was happening wasn't going to lead us directly to this point.
Well, it's funny because I know Jody Hamilton on her the Politics Bar. She talked about CBS firing the Smothers Brothers because Richard Nixon wanted it. I mean, it's not like this stuff has not gone on. We had McCarthy hearings going on, Joe McCarthy, and they were afraid to. I think it was CBS at the time too, with Edward R. Murrow, and they were afraid to talk about this. He was attacking this guy in the Navy and calling him a communist, and they wanted to do a story about it and debunk all that crap because he he had his list of communists and all the way up to Eisenhower. It was ridiculous, but not ridiculous. Now we see it all the time. But they were afraid to put that. They were afraid to show that. So it's not like it's new in this country, but we kind of ignored it. We didn't realize the danger, I guess, and
I think that there were still, and I think that there were still people, of course, during the era of Trump, we've always, kind of hearkened back to, compared it to Watergate and how, eventually, and it took 2 years, but eventually Republicans actually stood up and did something. But I mean, how many years are we going on with this madness with Trump?
Republicans only stood up at that time because Democrats were the ones in power. Richard Nixon held the presidency, but Democrats had the House and the Senate. They led the committees. Richard Nixon was not going to get away with this. Right now, if Republicans were in charge of the House at that time, because the majority of Republicans on the judiciary did not vote to impeach Donald Trump.
Right.
Well, so, I mean, it's a myth to suggest that Republicans were somehow more honorable then. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
There was a couple, yes, that would stand up to him. To Nixon.
But even, as is the case then and now, it is only when there's like almost no other choice, right? That's to your point. Yeah.
Yeah.
It would be too obvious to not,
right. Yeah. Because they haven't, Republicans never do the right thing unless they just have
unless they've exhausted every other
alternative. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
And so I mean, it drives me crazy when I hear that because Republicans have not changed. Okay, guys, they may have gotten more devious, but now they have Fox News. Now they have Newsmax. Now they have all these different influencers that are paid millions of dollars by shady billionaires. Okay.
Right.
To put out the Republican propaganda. They're not, as a matter of fact, that's why Fox News was invented to prevent another Richard Nixon, resigning.
Do you think because of those things that this base is more radicalized than, say, the, old school Republican base? Do you think that that has changed? The Republican base has changed because of the radicalization by this ultra right-wing media and cable news and, the different social media platforms?
I think to a certain extent, because now it's been legitimized. They hear their point of views being reflected on these channels.
Right. So they're validated, right?
They're validated. Yes. And so,
not with coded language anymore.
No, look at this thing with Obama. Okay. That is only getting in that is only happening on right-wing media.
Right.
And hopefully, mainstream media will just ignore it like they finally started doing with the Benghazi. Because it's so absurd. But this is what they do. They, now they have these mouthpieces, and Democrats don't have anything like that. So we all we have, as a matter of fact, that we didn't really have Twitter. Twitter was a grassroots kind of, what do they call that? Where just it comes up from nothing. It's just something that
it's like a grassroots movement.
But anyway, it didn't. What's his name? The guy that owned it before, Jack. what was his name? He kind of
that he owned Fox
Twitter.
News?
No,
Or Twitter. Oh, Dempsey.
Okay, not Jack. No, Dempsey. It wasn't Dempsey.
I think,
Jack
or
Dempsey.
Dorsey.
Oh,
Was
Dorsey.
it? Dorsey. That's it.
Dorsey. Okay, and he kind of had a hands-off approach. Nothing like what Elon Musk does, but they couldn't even let us have that.
Right.
Just kind of a kind of a level playing field. Because
Right.
that's what Twitter was. It was a level playing field. It was the only place that was pretty much a level playing field. And they couldn't even have that. They said, oh, it's all biased. No, because they have to confront reality on Twitter, or people are pushing back against them and have another narrative, which is the truth. They didn't like that our hashtags were always trending.
Yep.
You know, so they had to even destroy that.
Right. And wasn't Twitter the place where like Obama was able to gain a lot of traction?
No,
initially. No,
he when he was first elected, Twitter was just
starting.
Yeah, it was just starting. So not so much, but yes, on alternative media, he was, and throughout his presidency, he would go on YouTube channels,
or like Between Two Ferns with Zach
and that
Galifianakis,
and that other lady, that girl with the that ate cinema. She went on her. Oh, it's funny that the reaction back then to that too. Oh, that's beneath the presidency. I can't believe he's going on there. Even beneath Between Two Ferns. And those guys, now we've got Donald Trump going on with some random podcaster who's like 18, you know, and talks and you know, is probably a Nazi.
Yeah. Yes, and sitting down with Nick Fuentes, that's not beneath
the
office of the president. No.
Well, nothing's really beneath Donald Trump.
I mean, it's not. Yes, but you know, the office of the president.
The office of the presidency.
Right.
Yeah, we have sunk very low because of, and I'm not saying it's because of Donald Trump. It's because of our the right in this country, the conservatives, the right wing of this country. They are just, I mean, look what they're doing to this country. They don't give a crap about it. If they did, why would they let this criminal, who's obviously unfit in every way possible? He's stupid. He's corrupt.
Right.
He's, you know, he has no experience doing any of this. He's lies. He's dishonest. He's a criminal, and he's a sexual predator. Yeah. And yet, and the Republicans that, you know, are supposed to know better, the people that we elect, or not we, but some people elect, are just fine with it as long as, you know, that's their pathway to power.
Right. So, so as a result, of course, you know, there was a lot of strong reaction amongst, you know, those in the world of comedy and, you know, in Stephen Colbert's circles. And so Jon Stewart was one of the first people to come out and speak to the what Paramount did. So I'm going to go ahead and play his address.
Yeah, he had a great.
Yeah, he really did. So this was this past Monday.
I understand the corporate fear. I understand the fear that you and your advertisers have with $8 billion at stake. But understand this, truly. The shows that you now seek to cancel, censor, and control, a not insignificant portion of that $8 billion value came from those shows. That's what made you that money. Shows that say something, shows that take a stand, shows that are unafraid. And not to, believe me, this is not we speak truth to power. We don't. We speak opinions to television cameras. But we try every night. And if you believe, as corporations or as networks, you can make yourselves so innocuous that you can serve a gruel so flavorless that you will never again be on the boy king's radar, why will anyone watch you? And you are wrong.
I love the choir he had behind him too. Go fuck yourself.
Oh yeah, that was beautiful.
They were fabulous. But yeah, no, once again, Republicans, they tell you they care about free speech. Remember, this is all about free speech on Twitter. Remember that?
Yeah.
And they just love their free speech. No, they don't. They only want free speech for themselves. The speech, the ability to say offensive things,
Right.
and not people not to push back, because
Yeah.
they do not understand that the First Amendment applies to government control over speech, which is
Right.
what's happening right now.
Right.
This is actually a violation of the First Amendment.
Right. And then, and to diminish it to this idea, it's like he was canceled and, like this, to their definition of cancel
Right.
culture. So let's speak a little bit about, you have, they cry about, people that are musicians or, entertainers on their side or politicians, and they come out and they say what they say, and then people react to it and say, we're not going to buy your shit, right? So you have a free market situation where people are not going to buy your shit because you're a fucking racist asshole or a misogynist or a whatever, right? And so versus censorship.
Right. By government.
Yes.
Which is like, even like, remember when the Dixie Chicks, okay? And they criticized George Bush, that they have the right to do that. Now, George Bush didn't come down on them.
No.
But the right just basically canceled them, okay? Because they're a country western duo, or not duo, they're a band. And so they wanted trio, yeah. So that was their audience, basically. That was who listened to them for the most part at that time.
Yeah, so the country music scene, many of their fans turned on them.
And so what happened was, they basically lost a lot of money and everything else, but that's not censorship.
No.
Okay? It was horrible. I didn't agree with that.
But that wasn't the government
wasn't
threatening
George
them.
Bush coming down.
Right.
Yes.
That wasn't the government, like you said, coming after them. That wasn't the government threatening them. That may have been country music fans threatening them, because I know that happened.
Yes. And that's, that happens, okay? That we live in like you said, a free market. The free market, let the free market decide. I thought that's what Republicans always said. But they don't believe that either. See, they really don't believe anything.
No.
They don't believe in, fiscal responsibility and small deficits and all this other law and order.
Yeah, what is it that Blue Gal and Driftglass, our friends at the Professional Left podcast, refer to them
as reprogrammable meat bags.
Yes.
Because remember, here's a great example. Remember how excited they were about going to war with Iraq. Remember that? They cheered that on, and they were that. The WMD thing, you could not tell them there was no any WMDs, and we were trying to, and we knew it. And they cheered that on, and they got embarrassed, and now they're all anti-war, right? But then when Donald Trump goes and bombs Iran, they're kind of like, oh, okay, well, that's okay.
Right.
They're not. They're just reprogrammable. I mean, seriously, they're supporting Donald Trump, a lot of them, not all of them, because there are some that are just like, kind of confused and pissed, okay? And so anyway, now, before they were the ones who were demanding the Epstein files be released.
Right.
They were demanding it. This was this is kind of like their what do you call it? Their the thing, the Holy Grail. This was their Holy Grail, okay? He he was going to expose all these pedophiles, all these elites.
Right.
So, and now they're defending him. Well, we don't know. I've heard things like he's probably just trying to protect those donors and powerful businessmen so the economy doesn't collapse.
Right.
Seriously.
Right. So we will, and we'll get a little bit more into that, when we, get into the Epstein thing. But in the meantime, we had the then South Park, who just signed, who is also with Paramount, signed a $1.5 billion contract for 50 episodes. And so just in time for them, this is all happening. And so now they're saying, okay, we're good. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to let loose and we're going to say what we need to say. So this week, they dropped the first episode of the new season. And for those of you out there that haven't seen it yet,
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, get on it. Get on it. But at the end, it is absolute brilliance. And then at the end of it, though, and I'm going to play, they put out a PSA, and apparently this is one of 50 PSAs that they're going to be putting out. So I'm going to go ahead and play this for our audience now. If you've already heard it, enjoy it again.
Well, we have to visualize what's going on here.
Okay. Well, it's basically they start with, South Park is being sued by.
Well, no. The PSA.
Yeah, no. And yeah, for those of you out there, he's fully naked, okay? But where this clip picks up, it's with the people of South Park talking about the lawsuit against them and the terms of the settlement. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and play it, and then we can kind of give. It's not a pretty sight, and it involves a very small member appendage on Donald Trump's body.
And those aren't his boobs, okay? His boobs are big, really large.
Yes, sir. Oh, okay. Absolutely. Yes, thank you, Mr. President. We'll be happy to pay that, sir. Yes, sir. I will relax and I'll take a rest. Yes, thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, we settled.
Oh, we settled. Thank God.
I got the president down to $3.5 million.
$3.5 million. That's not so bad. That's really fair. I think that's fair.
We'll just have to cut some funding for our schools and hospitals and roads, and that should be that.
Yeah, well, that's not quite all. As part of the settlement, we also had to agree to doing pro-Trump messaging.
How are we supposed to do pro-Trump messaging?
Oh, come on, guys. We're South Park. We can do it.
Yeah. That's right.
We just gotta work together. Yeah.
Who walked through the desert for you? Who survived the wilderness and gave the ultimate sacrifice? When things heat up, who will deliver us from temptation? Donald J. Trump. No matter how hot it gets, he's not afraid to fight for America.
Okay, so now he's naked.
With conviction, discipline, and trust in God, he survived the test.
Naked.
Oh, God. Oh, God.
I'm Donald J. Trump, and I endorse this message.
That's his penis.
Trump. His penis is teeny tiny, but his love for us is large.
He gets us, all of us. He trumped us.com.
And you notice they're like, we'll just have to cut back on our schools and our roads and our hospitals.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
It really is brilliant the way they did it. There's so many Easter eggs in it.
Oh my God. It is. Yeah, it is really good. And, I had lunch with a couple of the Stephanie Miller fans today, and we were talking about it. And, one of the ladies said, at first I wasn't sure what was on his penis. And Anita, just so you know, it's like a set of eyes.
Well, they had to put the eyeballs on there to be able to show it. They had to put
the eyeballs, but we were like, ooh, what is that? Okay.
It's like a little worm with eyeballs, big eyeballs. Right?
Yes.
That's how I visualize it.
Yes. Yes. Oh my God. I wonder if Stormy Daniels could chime in and say, is that about it? Is that
That's
it?
my part.
Yes.
Yes. I helped write that.
It is teeny weeny. Let me tell you.
Oh my God. Yeah. There's so many. And apparently the pictures behind him when he's in the Oval are dirty, like him screwing a sheep and stuff like that's what I heard. Now, because I can't see, I don't know, Karen, you're going to have to check that out for me. Because apparently there's some nasty pictures in the back.
Oh, yes. In the episode, yes. There are, definitely some things that are just like, oh, yikes. Yes.
I know. Oh, my God. But yeah, this
is what it's going to be, and.
Well, let me just say this real quick, okay? This is a big, sue us. Try to take us down. Because now they have thrown the gauntlet, okay? Right. He had the veneer of, it was for financial reasons with Colbert, and Paramount. At least that's what he told everybody. And for people who aren't paying attention, they may just buy that, right?
Right.
This, oh no. What they did was just, I mean, it was brutal.
Yeah.
And it was just, they didn't just, there weren't innuendos. It was just right in your face, right?
Yeah.
So it's going to be difficult for him to try to actually, if he does, everybody will know what he's doing.
Right.
And why.
Yeah.
So it was brilliant. And then you had the, what's his name, Karen? You know his name, Carman. And the other guy.
Oh, yeah.
When they're in the car, they're gonna kill themselves, and at the end, that was the last thing you see.
Yeah, it was an electric car.
It was electric. They're trying to kill themselves, and they realize it's an electric car, and it's not working. But I think the point of that was like, hey, buddy, I love you, and all. They're kind of like saying, who knows? This may just be the end of us. This show.
Yeah.
So it was, and I heard them. They were interviewed, the writers, and they were like, "Oh, we're very, very sorry," very, very sarcastically. Apparently, that's
Oh, pardon us. Yeah. No, I mean, and it's, but it's there's legal cover now, and what are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
What are they going to do?
Are they going to do 50 more shows like this? I wonder. 49 more shows.
Well, they said that the PSA was one of 50, the first of 50.
I imagine when they were because from what I understand, they were a little nervous. Like, how will people like this, right?
Yeah.
And they wrote it in such a short period of time. That's why a lot of the stuff they talk about is very contemporary.
Yeah. Well, and this is who they've always been. And I remember when they first came on and watching, and it was just so like, wow, like so, over the top like scathing and very
Santa Claus and Jesus snorting coke. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was so irreverent, and you were like, and then I was talking to one of the women at lunch, and she said, and then she goes, and then it was like I had, I'm like dealing with my kids or whatever. And I just kind of thought, well, it's like, it's a little sophomoric, and maybe, I can find, there were other things. And so like, I haven't really, that's kind of where I was just kind of like, okay, I've got other things to do, and it's, so I wasn't like waiting for, the new episodes to drop, and life happened.
It's a very 12-year-old boy though. It's very much, you notice all the main characters are men, are boys. The females are just kind of put in their, they don't really have much to say.
Yeah.
But,
for their audience then.
For that audience.
Yes. To see that, I think it's.
Well, it really is like a cult. It's going to be, I mean, especially for like these bro podcasters, they watch this kind of stuff.
Right.
I know, because I've been looking at in these reaction channels and to see how these guys react to it, and they think it's hilarious. Yeah. This makes Donald Trump look stupid. First of all, they made him teeny tiny.
Yes.
Right? They didn't make him like they always do, like this big guy lumbering around. No, they made him teeny like he really is. I mean, like a teeny tiny man with a teeny tiny penis. And he's like, I'm going to sue you. I'm going to sue you.
Yep.
Nobody's mean to Donald Trump.
Right.
And he runs around and he looks stupid. He looks small because he is.
Yeah.
And he looks stupid. He remembered, and then they asked him about, you bomb. He goes, I'm going to bomb you like I bombed Iraq. And they go, Iran. He goes, oh, what difference does it make? Apparently that's a line from Saddam Hussein too, which was also another Easter egg.
Yeah.
You know, the mask.
So
yeah.
it again, if you haven't seen it, go out and get on it because it is absolutely brilliant. And this is part of how we resist this. This is part of how we must fight back,
Yeah.
against this tyranny.
Well, we have to regain kind of the culture again. And there was kind of this MAGA stuff, culture around these bro podcasters and all this other stuff.
Yep.
And it was basically a misogyny, racism, and all this. But it's absurd, and it's time he's absurd, and it's nice to see these people, just out there putting it out there. Okay, this guy's stupid and absurd, and this is who you're aligning yourself with.
An absurd little man who is now engaging in distraction and trying to cover up the biggest scandal to rock MAGA. Holy shit, this is a horror show. And honestly, we couldn't do this without our loyal listeners and love hearing from you. So please, please give us some stars and a review if you are so inclined wherever you get this podcast. I know that we are all feeling the pain of this second Felon 47 occupation. But Anita and I really, really understand the assignment, and we want to be here for all of you, our loyal listeners. Without you, we couldn't make this happen. We could not keep this running. So, TruBlu Politics is sponsored by, of course, our wonderful TruBlu crew of listeners and our supporters on Patreon. As a small startup podcast, our Patreon members help us pay the bills to keep our podcast running and also allow us to keep investing in equipment upgrades for even better quality content in the future. We all have our day jobs. I know I have a day job, and, that requires a lot of my time, but I want to be able to devote as much time to having these conversations, getting the word out, fighting the good fight against tyranny. So much of this is reliant on our community of progressives and road warriors. So when you sign up as a monthly TruBlu crew member on Patreon at even just $5, you instantly unlock our private TruBlu pod chat and full episodes a day earlier than everyone else without ads in the middle. Upwards from there, we've made even more perks available, like having your name shouted out at the end of our show and a personal Zoom call with me and Anita to discuss ways to overthrow convicted criminal Felon 47, Elon motherfucking Musk, and the GOP. If you could please become a Patreon subscriber at any level, go to patreon.com/TruBlu. That's TruBlu Politics Podcast. We love you guys. Stay strong and stay in the fight. So, what also has been happening now, alongside all of this, is the Epstein files are now front and center in the media, and everybody is talking about it. And there's significant splintering in MAGA world. So what has happened this week, Anita, was Ghislaine Maxwell's met with
Donald Trump's personal lawyer. Okay,
yes.
That's who this guy is. He's the deputy attorney general now. He's the 0-34 for defending Trump in court. So he's not a good lawyer. What did you expect?
Right.
But he's over there talking with no witnesses, nobody taking notes, no videotaping. He's over there. They had no interest in talking to her before, right? If they really wanted to get to the bottom of all this Epstein stuff, first of all, just release the files. Talk to the victims.
Right.
Interview the victims. Don't go running over to this woman that obviously is looking for a pardon right? And is a known liar and perjurer. She's been charged with perjury before.
Yep.
And she will do anything to get out of this. She is so complicit in this. I mean, of course, she was convicted, but the victims testified at her hearing, okay? And you probably everybody should look at those transcripts, but also listen to what some of them said even on like the documentaries. She was teaching these girls. She would pick up girls at junior high schools and high schools, and she would bring them to him after. First, she would groom them and teach them how to give blowjobs.
Yep.
And how to give massages and what to do. She would hand them over, off to Jeffrey Epstein on a platter, and all these rich, powerful men. She's as bad as he is.
Yep.
And she will do anything to get out of jail.
Yeah.
And so they're going to talk to her all of a sudden?
Right.
Come on. They think we're so stupid.
Yeah. Yeah. So there was a Facebook post that I saw, Rachel Hurley. And so she kind of it's not such a short summary, but these are some of the things. So after her second day of speaking with Trump's personal lawyer, who he installed at the DOJ, rumor is that Ghislaine Maxwell turned over 100 names of people that had ties to Epstein. She asked for a pardon. So let's review what Maxwell's role was in Epstein's crimes and what her own crimes were as well. Maxwell spent decades perfecting the art of manipulation, but her masterpiece was convincing people she was just Epstein's girlfriend who happened to be around when bad things happened. The reality that emerged during her 2021 trial was far uglier. She was the architect of a decade-long sex trafficking operation that destroyed young lives, and when finally caught, she lied about everything with the brazenness of someone who'd never faced real consequences before. And so now, of course, the MAGA sycophants, or loyalists, I suppose you should say, are now trying to twist themselves into pretzels to make it seem like somehow she was a victim in all of this.
Oh yeah, they've said it. Maybe she was a victim.
Yeah.
No, she's no victim in this at all. She, as a matter of fact, she was the one who brought him his victims. Okay.
Right.
I mean, like a serial killer. If she had brought a serial killer his victims.
Right.
Well, and now we're going to talk to that person who did. It's just unbelievable that they think they can get away with this.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she was convicted on 5 federal counts in December 2021, and then she was sentenced to 20 years in prison, and she's now currently serving her sentence at a low security women's federal prison in Florida. Still trying to overturn her conviction while occasionally cooperating with authorities who are finally interested in dismantling what remains of Epstein's network. And so this is what she says. Maxwell was found guilty on 5 of 6 federal charges, and the specifics matter because they show this wasn't some passive bystander situation. She was convicted of, and this is who they're trying to paint as a victim: conspiracy to entice minors to travel for illegal sex acts, conspiracy to transport minors for criminal sexual activity, actually transporting a minor for illegal sex, sex trafficking conspiracy, sex trafficking of a minor. The only charge she beat was direct enticement of a minor, though that's hardly a victory lap when you're looking at 2 decades in prison.
They had every opportunity. They did not care to talk to her before. They, as a matter of fact, what was it in 2021? The prosecutors said she was a liar. They charged her with perjury. So of course she's going to tell them what they want to hear. Anybody that thinks that, please, who's going to be foolish enough to believe this? And I know some MAGA, because they're grasping at straws.
Yes.
But if they really wanted, first of all, they could have talked to her before, and now Donald Trump says it's a hoax. And what were in those binders that, Epstein Files Part 1, that Pam Bondi gave
that Pam Bondi said. I just don't know how they are going to make people unsee this.
Yeah, they really have. They have really kind of, screwed themselves, because they knew Donald Trump, for them to say, oh, Pam Bondi told him he was in the Epstein Files in May. Donald Trump knew he was in the Epstein Files. Go watch that interview on Fox last year. okay, where they ask him, would you release the JFK files? Yes. Would you release the Martin Luther King files? Yes. Would you release the Epstein files? Yeah, well, there might be some stuff in there. It might hurt some people. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew he was in there from the beginning. Of course he did, because he's in there.
Of course. And who are and don't for 1 minute think that we're going to believe that he really cares about the victims, and that's the thing. And I've heard more people, kind of talking about, the part of it that's being lost is the victims. And so now they're saying that, we're going to release the grand jury report, but that basically just deals with the victims of the crime.
It doesn't deal with the people, the perpetrators.
The perpetrators, right.
Yeah.
So
if they really want the truth, talk to the victims. Talk to the victims.
Right.
You want to, but they're going to talk to the perpetrator?
Exactly. And so what they would hear, from the victims is this. So this Ms. Hurley goes on and she talks about some of the evidence that was presented in the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. So take Jane, who testified Maxwell first approached her at a summer camp when she was 14. Anita, 14.
I know.
Maxwell didn't just introduce her to Epstein. She took Jane shopping for underwear at Victoria's Secret, normalized the inappropriate relationship through gifts and attention, then directly instructed Jane on how to perform sexual acts while participating herself. This wasn't enabling. This was active participation in child abuse.
Yes, I know. And it's just, to me, honestly, what it says is that we don't give a fuck about the victims at all.
No.
When they're talking to Ghislaine, they just want to get out of this.
Yes.
So they've never cared. Donald Trump never cared. He always knew he went ahead, went along with this. Yes, I will release the Epstein files. He even spread conspiracies about it. Helped, his most loyal podcasters like Kash Patel and Dan Bongino now work for him, Pam Bondi, and he created this mess. He created this situation.
Absolutely.
Democrats, and I've heard this too. Why didn't Democrats, demand the Epstein files release? How come only now they care? It's only because it's Trump. Well, that's not true. The reason why Democrats didn't demand it then, and did not really take much interest in the Epstein files, is because it seemed very like it was exploitive of these victims, of these children.
Right.
And it would just seem gross. Of course, MAGA didn't care about the victims. They did the opposite. They were exploiting them for their own political gain.
Yeah.
They were doing it because they thought they were going to expose all these elites, these Democrats, Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama, and who knows who else, Bill Gates.
Yeah. Well, and, this is the thing. While all of this was, so since she was prosecuted, what has happened since? Well, Donald Trump lost the election, incited a violent coup on our Capitol. He went through his second impeachment. He went through a series. He was being prosecuted for his crimes involving January 6th. He was dealing with multiple indictments for rape in a civil suit. He was facing charges of fraud, right? And so, and still, even though President Biden appointed arguably one of the most feckless attorneys general in the history of the United States.
Well, I don't know about
Merrick
that.
Garland. Well, he was pretty bad.
He was the wrong man for the time.
I'm saying one, for sure. Anyway, but having said that, despite the fact that Joe Biden stood back and let the DOJ do their job and pursue the cases where the charges would be winnable and, use their discretion, he stayed out of it. They were still running around saying that he was weaponizing the DOJ.
Even though it was in New York, it was in Florida, it wasn't even the federal government, okay?
Exactly
except for Jack Smith. And I'm sorry, but and by the way, he convicted a bunch of those people for sedition that
Right.
Donald Trump pardoned.
That's
That
right.
it wasn't a hoax.
No.
It wasn't made up.
No.
Juries heard those cases and
That's
sentenced
right.
some of them to like 30 years, 20 years.
Yes. Joe Biden didn't find him guilty. A jury of his peers found him guilty. Found all of these people guilty.
That's right.
A jury of Donald Trump's peers in New York found him guilty.
But he's, this is what he does. I mean, he calls everything a hoax. Now he's calling the whole.
And so it does, like we have talked about this. So it does beg the question, if he's calling this a hoax.
Yeah. What else is not a hoax?
Yeah, exactly. So maybe all of the other things that he was calling a hoax weren't really actually hoaxes.
No, because the Russia thing wasn't a hoax. Okay, guys.
No.
January 6th wasn't a hoax. All the things against it, all the criminal investigations against him were not a hoax. He was being held accountable, and he should have been. And he would have been. He probably would be in prison right now.
Yep.
If so many Americans had not decided, you know what, let's just take our chances with this criminal.
Right.
And now here we are.
Or I don't know enough about it.
I don't know enough about Kamala.
I don't know enough about Kamala. I don't know enough about
Joe
Donald
Biden,
Trump.
he's old.
This
He's
is the
old.
thing. Like people would say, like, oh, a lot of people don't vote because they don't feel like they know enough. Are you kidding me? Like, what did you not know about Donald Trump? Like, if that's all you know, if that's all you knew about the choice in the election or whatever, I'm thinking maybe you take your chance on the lady prosecutor.
People voted for somebody to protect the status of mediocre white men.
That's right.
And they would have voted, and I said this before, they would have voted for Jeffrey Dahmer if he did that, if he promised to do that. These people.
But I'm talking about the non-voters that say that they don't know enough about it.
I don't, you know what? Honestly, I don't know. There was a lot of people that were non-voters because they were protesting Gaza and all this stuff. Now, of course, it's worse for Gaza. It's worse for the Palestinians. That they were buying a lot of the propaganda. Let's face it.
Yep.
And that a lot of people enough Americans don't pay attention. And this is what has led us here.
Yep.
People need to start. At least, it does not take a lot to know what's going on in this country. It didn't take anything to know that Donald Trump was a crook.
It doesn't, and it doesn't take very much to know that Donald Trump was a sexual predator. I mean, and that he had a very close relationship with Jeffrey Epstein.
As a matter of fact, think about that, Karen. He was okay. The fact is, these MAGAs actually thought and admitted sexual predator because he's admitted it. He grabs women by the pussy. Remember?
Right. Right.
He's admitted sexual predator.
And the women ran around at his rallies with,
grab me by the, and Jeffrey Epstein, longtime best friend of Jeffrey Epstein, was going to be the one to expose the Epstein files.
Right.
I mean, they have nobody else to blame but their stupid selves.
That's right.
Their gullible selves.
Yep.
But
yeah. So in this moment, then the job for all of us and our Democratic leadership is to keep calling for the release of the full report and putting Republicans on the hot seat because
every chance
they can
Karen,
get.
Play that thing. Okay. When he talked about Obama, and I know we barely touched on that, but the Obama thing, because he's telling, and you just reminded me, because he's telling these Republicans when they go back home and they do these town halls, whenever anybody brings up Epstein, you say, by the way, Obama cheated, to distract them, right?
Yep.
And if you're at that town hall, don't let them get away with that.
Donald Trump hung up on CNN after they asked him questions about Jeffrey Epstein, and now we know why he's been freaking out so much about the Epstein files. The Department of Justice told him in May that he's in the Epstein files, but don't worry, he's got a brilliant new ploy to get himself out of trouble. Yell more about Obama. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. You guys, for weeks, Trump has been desperately trying to change the topic from Epstein. Earlier this week, he explained to Republicans during a meeting at the White House how they should pivot from Epstein questions to a different topic.
Remember this, Obama cheated on the election. And we have it cold, hard, blue, and it's getting even more so because the stuff that's coming in is not even believable. So, and you should mention that every time they give you a question that's not appropriate, just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election.
It's like watching a magician explain a magic trick, and it's also a trick. So first you throw down the smoke pellet, then you got to run away as fast as you can. But Trump seemed confident that this tactic would work.
Every time they give you a question that's not appropriate, just say, oh, by the way, Obama cheated on the election. You'll watch the camera turn off instantly.
Yeah, but you're on camera right now. You just said it and the camera didn't turn off. The camera never turns off, of course, when you're talking, unless it's C-SPAN and the AA batteries run out. We've been living through 10 years of nonstop Trump coverage, and guys, it sucks. The only way it could be worse is if you had a GoPro attached to your head.
Oh, I just want to point something out that Jeff Class pointed out. When he says, you wouldn't believe what we're finding, it's unbelievable. That's exact same language that he used about Obama's birth certificate. You wouldn't believe what we're finding out. It's unbelievable.
Yep.
It was all bullshit, just like this is all bullshit.
That is a sign of some major desperation, don't you think?
Oh, my God. I heard some MAGA on Twitter was like, I knew he was guilty when I heard him say Obama.
Yeah.
When he started going after Obama. So I don't know how much it's going to work. They're pushing it. I've been on Twitter. I know you're not anymore, but for my own reasons, I am. And they're promoting it like you wouldn't believe. I don't know how much it's going to stick. It's ridiculous. And I think it's important for us to address it just a little bit, at least, because these things tend to get out of control if we don't.
Yes. We can't just ignore it, and we have to point it out and call it out and say, okay, do you guys understand what he's trying to distract you from?
Yeah.
This is what he thinks you are so gullible and so stupid that he can manipulate you away from the thing that you said that was everything. Right? And now he's trying. Do you not see this? Now he will not release the report. You know, and now he's trying to. Now he brings up Obama.
And also, I want to point out, okay, never forget, the FBI opened up an investigation into Trump Russia way before the election, okay? They opened one up on him and one on Hillary in her emails, right? Yes. And what did they announce? The investigation into Hillary Clinton's emails. They never told anybody they were investigating Donald Trump. Obama had nothing to do with this, okay?
And by the way, when the information came to President Obama's attention, he went to Mitch McConnell.
Yep. And Mitch McConnell said, no, we're not, you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to help you.
Yes. And because it was in the year of an election and because it would seem partisan, they didn't release it.
And Obama came out right after the election and told us all to, quiet down. It was a legitimate election and all this other stuff. They're trying to be based on one email within the Obama administration that said, look into possible hacking, which was a reasonable thing to look into. Okay. Sure. And they didn't find anything. And they told us that.
That's right.
Okay. And then later on, there were plenty of investigations into all of this, the Russian interference in the election. The Senate committee, Intelligence Committee, was led by Marco Rubio. And they came out a couple years later with probably the most thorough, report there is out there. Senate Intelligence Committee, led by Marco Rubio, on the Russian interference. It states all of the same things that the Mueller report, only gives even further, information about how Donald Trump cooperated with Russia, how he invited them, how they wanted him to win, and and the Durham report. Basically, he said the same thing.
Yes.
Your guy, John Durham.
Yes. And all of this is very important. We have got to remind people of the history of it. And we have to, so that we can understand what is happening right now and why it's happening, why he's doing what he's doing. And also, if that's not enough for all of us to do, The DOJ is issuing statements talking about how they are banning mutilation, genital mutilation in children. That they are putting laws into place to criminally go after people who what's the word I'm looking for, that seek out gender affirming care for trans people.
Well, okay.
And also, but the way they're framing it is in children, which that is not
It doesn't happen. That's not happening.
So but the danger of that is putting it out there, and the way they're framing it is absolutely to create
a narrative that this is happening.
That this is happening. And then also executive order that ending crime and disorder on America's streets. The Trump executive order is extremely dangerous to civil liberties. For starters, the term vagrancy, going after homeless people, hasn't been used in any official capacity in decades. By the way, vagrancy is how racist Southern sheriffs put people into chain gangs, and it gets worse. So basically what they're trying to do is they're wanting to grab homeless people up and then put them to work.
Yeah. Well, that's no surprise.
No, it's no surprise.
Supreme Court made it possible.
Yes. And it's not a surprise, but it is something that people also, in addition to everything else, we need to be very clear. And so we are running out of time here, but I did want Anita, because I saw this and I thought I really want Anita to hear this. And it kind of speaks to the moment we're in and sounds the alarm, and I think at the right level of volume.
Urgency.
Let me be real clear, and I need y'all to hear me like our lives depend on it, because they do. We are not in a political debate. We are in a war, not a metaphorical one, not a symbolic one, but a strategic, well-funded, policy-backed, legally armed war for the soul of this country and the bodies of every person that don't fit the mold of a straight, cis, Christian, white man. And the wildest part is half of y'all still don't see it. You're playing checkers on a chessboard that's already been cleared. You think that they're just coming for trans folks, for queer kids, for immigrants, for poor people. No, baby, they are coming for order, and they're bringing chaos as a battering ram. White men, the most coddled demographic in American history, have finally realized that they are no longer the majority numerically, and so now they're using power, policy, and platforms to cling to what they can't reclaim, which is control. They've decided that they can't run the show, and so they'll burn the whole damn theater down. And the gag is they told us. They told us who they were when they showed up in Charlottesville with tiki torches and khakis, when they stormed the Capitol in broad daylight. They banned books, rewriting the ones they left behind, outlawing truth, targeting teachers, sterilizing trans care, gagging free speech, gutting Medicaid, criminalizing being poor, being black, being alive. And while they are passing laws, we're posting memes. Y'all keep waiting for the moment to get bad enough. The moment was Roe. The moment was George Floyd. The moment was Post. The moment was Trayvon, was Uvalid, was Obergefell being threatened. It was Tennessee banning drag. It was Florida erasing history. It was Texas legalizing bounty hunts on uteruses. It was Alabama writing segregation back into the books with a fresh coat of Christian nationalism. It was Trump saying quiet and screaming at the same time. And it was us arguing over which identity would lead the resistance while the fascists were halfway through their takeover. I am not here to play with y'all. I am not here to say vote, and that I hope that you remember to vote in November. I am here to say mobilize or get mowed the down. Because while we're dissecting microaggressions, they're orchestrating genocide in suits and ties. And if that feels extreme to say, then you haven't been paying attention. This country is on fire, and instead of water, most of y'all brought vibes. White supremacy doesn't need a new plan. It's using the same playbook that it always had. Divide, distract, dominate. And what are we doing? Sitting in silos playing the oppression Olympics, letting respectability politics babysit our rage. And that ends today. I don't care if you're gay, bi, trans, poor, disabled, undocumented, formerly incarcerated, fat, femme, sex working, devout, disillusioned, or just trying to make it through the next week, if you are not white, cis, straight, or Christian and a man with inherited wealth or generational impunity, you are on the list. And if you think for 1 second that aligning yourself with whiteness, with maleness, with neutrality will save you, baby, you are building the gallows with your silence. So let's get honest. You want to know why they're winning? It's because they unify in fear. You want to know why we keep losing? It's because we fracture in ego. The right builds armies and the left builds hashtags. This is your clarion call. If you were wondering where the revolution is, it's wherever you are standing. If you were wondering what to do, start where you are. Call your lawmakers. Shut down your boardrooms. Go and fund Black and queer and trans-led organizations. Walk out, sit in, raise hell, and do it now. Because when they come knocking for the next person, don't you dare act surprised that there's nobody left to answer the door for you. If it gets you fired, let it. If it finally makes them mad enough to see you, let it. Because, baby, if we don't act, we are not surviving. We are surrendering. And I don't know about y'all, but I wasn't born to die quietly. I was born to be a problem. So let's become a problem that they can't solve together.
Wow. Wow. She's amazing.
Right.
Who is that?
Oh, let me go back. Hold on. It was posted on.
I'm going to follow her.
Yeah, I will find it and I'll post it on the link for the show and I'll send it to you.
That was
as
amazing.
well.
We fraction in ego.
Yep.
Yeah, guys, seriously. That was like the what was it, the poem? They didn't, first they came for
Yeah,
the Jews, and I didn't. That's basically what she said.
that's
But,
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's, yeah, very powerful. I will find it. I'm sorry. It just, it's on Facebook and then it kind of clicked over to something else, but I will find that. But yes, it was, it just kind of dropped into my feed. I believe it's on Vote Blue. Hold on. Yeah.
She's amazing.
Yeah. That was
Whoever that is.
incredible, wasn't it? Yeah.
Very well done.
Very well done. And it really does. It's what we have been talking about. And it is absolutely 100% the call to action right now. So it is time to mobilize. It is time to
be a problem.
And, I was having coffee this morning and, somebody brought up the fact that they signed this executive order to go after homeless people. And, somebody was like, and was bringing up like some hypothetical, it reminds me of this movie or that, whatever. And he's like, no. He goes, it's happening right now. And so what I want to ask people is, if you have been sitting on the sidelines, if you have not been showing up to protest, if you have not been in your social circles calling this out, sounding the alarm for the people that you are friends with, that you're family with, if you are not writing letters, calling, if you're not doing everything in your power to get mobilized and activate yourself, what the fuck are you waiting for?
Go to what's the name of the
get involved with Indivisible.
Indivisible. Call your senators, call your congressman, 202-225-3121. But try to get in touch with Indivisible 5051.
Yep. Because when history is written, I don't know, Anita, you and I have talked about it. I always said from day one of the Trump installation, the first time around, I said, I will not be a good German that does nothing. And I will not be a good American that does nothing. And it is time. It is time to make good trouble. It's past time to make good trouble and get out of your privilege and your protected bubbles and get your shit out in the streets with us.
Yes, get uncomfortable, because it is going to be uncomfortable.
It is going to be very uncomfortable.
It's a comfortable time to talk about these kind of things.
Yep.
But
it's time.
It's time. You've got to just move past that. Get over that.
Mm-hmm.
How much does it mean to you? How much does your freedom mean to you? How much does democracy mean to you? How much do your friends and family mean to you?
Your children, your grandchildren, the future, the planet that they're going to inherit, the country, the political landscape that they're going to inherit, the health, exactly.
Your health, your personal health.
That's right.
Premiums went up 50%. Did you know that since Trump got in office?
That's right. That's
Everything's going up, but don't worry because he's cutting pharmaceuticals by 1,500%.
Sure. Mm-hmm. Yep.
We should have played that.
Yeah.
But,
well, we will. Well, listen, we have more weeks, much more time to go, and many more things to talk about. But for now, it is a wrap for episode 41 of TruBlu Politics Podcast.
Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you so much for your support. Please, 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 if you have not done so already, go to our Patreon page, TruBlu Politics Podcast.
The price of a cup of coffee.
For the price of a latte. Okay. You can
really
help support and really a coffee, but you can support progressive podcasts like ours, and we really appreciate it. And this is we're doing this basically for free, but at a $5 level that helps us keep the lights on and keeps us moving ahead. So, and we would like to increase the frequency of these shows to once a week, but we will need more subscribers, more support. Please share our podcast with your friends and family so that they can join in the conversation as well.
Yep.
And have a great week. A couple weeks, everybody.
Thanks, guys.
We'll see you next time. All right. Bye, Anita.
Bye, Karen.